I speak in like the jails. That's where I'm the funniest because like, dude, it is so unfunny when you walk in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, and there'd be a dude 40 years old with face tattoos and he would come up to me and be like, yo, dude, when you came into Conti jail,
No way.
you were the best speaker we had over there.
Get out.
And my mom would be like, Brian, who the fuck is that? You know, I have over 200 employees.
Wow.
You know, I have multiple businesses. I'm sleeping with like the most beautiful women in the world. I walked away from a multi-million-dollar company to pursue this.
Yeah.
So I could like barely make my car payment, you know?
So, for example, I don't take elevators.
What?
Funny. Yeah.
Real voices, bold stories. This is the Lexis Star Show.
This show is presented by King Rilla and Jerkmate. Welcome to the Lexis Star Show, where we talk about everything and anything, and no topic is off limits. Joining me today is a very special guest. He is a recovering drug addict, author, businessman, and adult content creator. Please welcome Mr. Teddy Tarantino. Thanks for being here today with us. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So there's a lot going on with you.
Yes.
Okay. The first time we met was very brief. It was at XBiz. You had your little cat there.
Yes, Takashi.
Yeah. He was it a boy or a girl?
He's a boy.
He's a boy. Okay.
Yeah.
He everyone was interested in the cat. Anyways, we said hi, and then we've been talking a little bit on Instagram. You do post funny reels. We chat here and there, and now we got you on the show.
Yeah, I see you blowing up on the hub.
Slowly but surely. I told you I was coming for your spot, and I did. I got it.
What's your rank right now?
So like 2 days ago, I was at 125.
Wow.
And then 3 days ago, I was at 125, and now I'm back to 129.
Yeah, I was like up at 120 something.
Yeah.
At 140.
Yeah, I did check. I'm not going to lie.
129. There you go.
129 is going down, but as long as I'm consistent, I post once a week. You know, that's why, because I went from like
twice a week.
Eh?
I do twice a week.
You do twice a week?
Yeah, maybe I should do once a week.
I think once a week is enough.
I'm posting a lot, and
No, I think once a week is like the sweet spot, because then they don't have time to like see your video. Like when are you posting? Monday, Friday? I don't know.
I just do twice a week.
You just do twice a week?
Randomly.
No, try maybe one. Maybe one.
Once a week.
So I have your book over here, How to Talk to Girls at Parties.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I haven't finished it yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I sit down and I read and I'm like, holy shit, I read 50 pages and then I don't read for a week. So tell us a little bit, not about the book per se, but a little bit about your childhood, because clearly you had an interesting childhood that not many people had. Maybe not childhood per se, but like you got involved with some things that not everybody has experienced. So,
well, I'm born and raised in South Florida, and this area is kind of like brings back memories. I only would come here as a kid, so I had like a couple of friends that lived here, and I guess like I used to live in this area that was near the skate park. There was the skate park called like Brian Piccolo. And I was like really good at skating growing up. So I used to like skateboard and like rollerblade. And that is like the time of my life where I consider like the happy times.
okay.
Then when I moved away, I moved in a different neighborhood where like everyone played sports. And dude, I couldn't catch a football. I struck out in T-ball. I couldn't play basketball. I was picked last. All the kids were bigger than me. I was bullied. And man, 4th grade cigarettes, 7th grade cocaine,
God damn.
9th grade crack and Oxycontin.
Shit.
And I just fell in love with using. So using really became like my sports. Like when kids talking about like playing sports as a kid or like things they did as a kid, I had like no interest, no hobbies. Really, once I found like, drugs, that was basically my whole life and everything. And
but how, like, okay, so in 4th grade, you said cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right? How? Like, okay, cigarettes is not that bad. I used to smoke cigarettes. I think I started when I was like 14 years old. I smoked for like 8 years.
Yeah.
But how did you get cocaine in 7th grade?
People always ask me that, but you know, like I think the back of the book says, you know, there's this guy who, when I was at a meeting once, he says, if you're a drug addict, drugs will find your ass.
Okay, yes, I
So
think
it's like, it's kind of like when you have an addiction personality or you have addiction, you just gravitate towards those things, and like people you meet, like you're just in that world. And it started because I was already selling weed. So cigarettes turned into weed.
But you were not a fan of weed.
I was until I wasn't.
Okay.
You know?
So you found something better?
So I was a fan of weed up until I got arrested and started peeing a cup. You know, I wasn't a fan because it stayed in your system for 30 days.
Yeah.
It's like the worst drug to do. But I was obsessed with weed from like the end of 4th grade till 7th grade.
4th grade. How old are you in 4th grade?
I don't know, 8, 9?
Jeez.
Are you 8, 9? Yeah.
Well,
maybe 10?
So in grade 1, you're turning 7, 8, 9. So 9, 10, I'm
9, 10,
guessing?
yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I was smoking cigarettes with my friend who was a little bit older. And then I had done mushrooms in like, I think 6th grade.
What?
Yeah, he had mushrooms one day.
Were you like in a nice neighborhood or?
Yeah, I lived in a neighborhood just like this.
Really?
I lived in a neighborhood just like this, but I lived in Davie. So Davie's interesting because, you know, you would have $1 million homes and then you would have a trailer park like within walking distance.
Okay.
And then sometimes the kids who lived in $1 million homes were worse than the trailer park kids. So there wasn't really like, just because you lived out west didn't mean that like life was pretty. You know what I mean? Like you had kids in the private schools that were doing coke, and then in the public schools they were just doing weed, you know? So like it was just a little different. But I don't know if it's like that now, but I just remember like being a kid and like the only thing that really mattered in like 7th grade was like how thugged out you could be.
Fuck.
Yeah, so like in 7th grade, I always had friends who were probably like 18, 19 by at that point. So I grew up so fast. So in 7th grade, like when I would see kids my age on bikes, I'm like, oh, you guys are losers. Like, you wouldn't catch me dead riding a bike.
Yeah.
I have friends who drive and pick me up. Like, and I was always lying about my age. I had different friend groups. And I had friend groups that had no idea how old I was. And I was driving.
Okay.
So in 7th grade, I was stealing my mom's car almost like 3-4 days out the week. And I knew how to drive. I could drive. I would go to parties. I would drive myself. So people would see me pull up at a party and they would just assume that I was 17, 18. And I was the plug.
Yeah.
So I remember going to a party in 7th grade and I was the guy who had the bud, who had weed. So, you know, honestly, the way people view college is how I viewed 7th grade.
Okay.
7th grade was like I got all the girls. I was driving, going to all the parties. I had a fake ID. I was going to like little clubs, you know.
You're wild.
Yeah, to me, I had a gold chain.
Yeah.
You know, I had a gold chain. I had a gold bracelet. In my mind, I was a dope dealer.
You're a gangster.
Yeah, I was a gangster. You know, I had Young Jeezy Trap or Die had just came out, and the movie Blow was coming out.
Okay.
And then when I got arrested, that's
how old were you when you got arrested?
7th grade, so 12 or 13.
Jeez, okay.
So I got arrested at school with an ounce of weed, and that's when I started to get drug tested. And then
at the school,
I got arrested at school.
Okay, you got arrested at school, and then who would drug test you? The school?
I was on probation, so then I was doing like an outpatient program where I'd have to go once a week or every other week to get tested, and then I had to do groups and shit like that. And then,
but you were stealing other people's pee.
Yeah, of course. I mean, no. I know. So at that time, I just wasn't using. I didn't know about that.
Okay.
So I was just not smoking because all I did was smoke weed at that time.
Okay.
So at that time, just not smoking weed. And then one day, my boy, I don't want to say his name.
Yeah.
But my boy, he came over to my crib, and he was like, "Yo, like I left something under your keyboard, and like don't look at it." And I was like, "What?" And it was powder cocaine. And I remember being like scared of it, like, what? And then I remember I was like, how much for a gram? And he was like $40. And I was like, $40? Because like in weed, you know,
you can get a lot. Yeah.
Like, what? And then he was like, yeah. So then he taught me how to do it. And then I remember he was like, how'd you like it? And I was like, bro, I think you sold me fake shit. And he was like, why? And I was like, bro, all I did was stay up all night and play video games.
There you go.
He's like, what? He's like, that's all it does. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's all it does?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like I had done mushrooms already. I smoked weed. I'd done Xanax. I've been drunk. So I'm thinking cocaine must be like.
It just keeps you awake, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's
It just
like
keeps
doing a
you
bunch
awake.
it's like Adderall, whatever. So I was like, that's it? I was like, that's nothing. And then I started to do it. And then I had this revelation, like, I wasn't meant to play baseball. I wasn't meant to play basketball. I wasn't meant to do anything other
Then
than cocaine
That's crazy.
because I'm half Colombian.
It's
So I
in
remember
7th grade, that was your purpose.
I remember thinking this is what I was put on earth to do.
Shit.
I got so into weed, I got so into cocaine. I read every book about the cartel.
Wow.
I read books about like Pablo Escobar.
You saw the documentary.
I saw Cocaine Cowboys that just came out. The movie Blow had just came out. And I remember like dude, if you weren't doing coke, I just thought you were like a total loser.
Well, sometimes I'm like, when I'm reading the book, I'm like, yo, this guy must think I'm a fucking loser. Like, if he knew me back then, he'd be like, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was. And to be honest with you, like I was just an insecure boy trying to fit in with people I shouldn't even wanted to fit in with.
You sometimes seem a little mean.
Oh, I was extremely mean.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
There are girls that I've met as an adult, and I don't even remember them. And they were like, yo, you ruined my life.
Really?
Yo, there's this girl who came up to me one day and she was like, hey, I'm glad you're doing good and everything, but I want you to know you ruined my life.
Jesus.
And I was like, damn.
That's
And I feel horrible
intense,
now,
yeah.
but like when people hear that I was a drug addict at a young age, they're like, oh, like they feel sorry. Like, oh, that's sad. But if you would have known me then,
You would have,
you're like, oh, that kid's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like that kid's garbage.
And so 7th grade, we're doing cocaine. And then when did the crack start? Because, okay, to be honest, I'm not even fully sure what crack is, okay? I try to understand. It's like cocaine, smoked cocaine. This episode is brought to you by Jerkmate, the site where the models are actually live and waiting for you. We're talking real-time chats, no scripts, no filters. You're not just watching, you're part of the show. Do you want her to watch you too? Just go cam to cam. Want to stay mysterious? Stay dark. Ask our models for anything you want and don't be shy. Jerkmate is free to join, no monthly subscription BS. All you gotta do is create a free account and boom, you get access to thousands of models waiting just for you. So what are you waiting for? Go check out the link in my bio, click on the little Jerkmate tab, and get ready to have some fun.
So you get coke and you cook it, and when you cook it and cool it fast,
Okay?
you use baking soda, but you don't have to use baking soda, but it helps like the re-rock process. You heat it up and you cool it down, and then when it comes out, it shakes out to like, you could get a gram of coke and it'll cook up to like this much of crack, which is like what the fuck? But that's like the purest form. So coke, if you mush it, it'll mush. When you heat it up and cool it down, it turns into like a actual rock that is like, you break it and it'll snap.
Okay.
And it's like a hard form. And then when you light it, it'll start smoking. If you light coke, it'll start melting.
Okay.
But it's so pure and it's like how much cocaine is actually in it. When you melt coke down, most of the impurities go away. So this is like the highest form of crack. And when I tell people, it's like the difference between like a Red Bull and an Adderall.
Okay.
So then you have Red Bull, then you have Adderall, then you have coke, and then you have crack. So the difference between coke and crack, for me, my experience with it is that when I used to buy coke, if it was garbage, I wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
If it wasn't good, I wouldn't buy it. 2, when I would buy it, I would weigh it out. And if it was off, we had problems or I wasn't buying it. When I got addicted to crack, it's nonverbal. So when we would do coke, it would be like, hey, you want to get powder, or you want to buy an 8-ball, whatever. Crack was all nonverbal.
Okay.
There was no talking.
Okay.
You have a car, we're going right now.
Okay.
Like, you don't have money, we're going to get money.
How, like, because from what I understood is that you always wanted to be high on it. Like, how often were you doing it?
So I would do it as much as I could, but honestly, I would binge it.
Okay.
So I would go on 2-day binges, and then I would swear I'll never do it again. And then like, it's crazy because the come down is so hardcore that when you get over the come down, it is so disgusting. You're like, I never want to do that again. Like I would throw away crack pipes. I remember having crack pipes and whatever. I'll throw it in the bushes behind my house. The next day,
You want to do it again.
I would wake up at 6 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I would. The thoughts would be so strong that you would feel it in your body. Like it would be the mental addiction is so strong. I couldn't even. I can't even explain it in words.
Yeah.
And then I would be in the bushes
looking for
the one that I threw out. Spider, like this is Florida, spider webs, all types of. I just wouldn't care, and I would find it. And then I would go and get more. And then I would binge it probably I would go months where I would do it on the weekends, like 2 days out the week. Okay. And then I would go months without doing it. And then I would go months with doing it. And then back and forth. And then it came to a point where if I had left, because then I got addicted to opiates. So I got addicted to oxys. Then that was my main girlfriend. And this was my side hug.
Yeah.
So it's I needed opiates to function. Like I couldn't. If I didn't have opiates, I was shitting myself and throwing up.
Yeah.
So then if I had extra money, I would buy crack also. And then that was my life for 3 years.
And were you doing the opiates every single day?
Yeah. Once you're addicted to opiates, you need them every 12 hours.
So I used to work in pharmacy, right? And I can tell sometimes clients would come and I'm just that they're not taking it for what they're supposed to be taking it.
Sure.
And they just oh yeah, I'm going on vacation and I need my pills 20 days early. And it's but you can't do that, and you can see that they were feeding for them. And how, did your mom know that you were doing all this stuff?
So my parents knew, but love blinds people.
Yeah.
So love will blind somebody to the point where they know, but they don't want to know. And they believe, but they don't want to believe. And they're seeing it, but they're trying not to see it.
Yeah.
And they're just minimizing it. And they're trying, my parents talked to me multiple times. They sent me to military school. I've been to therapy. My mom has had people come over and pray over me.
Really?
My mom used to take me to church. My dad screamed and yelled and broke things. My dad gave me things. My dad, my dad had he tried being mean. He tried being nice. They, took the door off the hinges. Wow. They got an alarm on the house. My parents got an alarm, so I couldn't go out.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
My parents, they did everything they could, but I just never, there was nothing that could stop me,
That's so crazy when you think about it, because I feel if I were addicted to something, I would just be there would be no way out for me. I feel I don't have that willpower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even myself, I stay away from things that could be addictive because I know I have an addictive personality.
Yeah, exactly. I feel I do too. And if I were to do something that would feel good, I'd be oh, okay, well, let me, keep doing this. But I guess it's different also when you're younger than when you're older.
So when you're younger, you don't have for people that don't know, I also worked in addiction for 9 years as a professional. So, I've learned a lot of things now that I didn't know as a child. But as a kid, your frontal lobe isn't developed. Yeah. Your frontal lobe is where you have your decision-making skills and controls your impulses. So when you do that as a young age, your frontal lobe might never fully develop.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is a frontal lobe issue where that's why treatment and long-term treatment and outpatient is so important because it gives you this environment where you don't have to make those impulsive decisions and people are making a lot of decisions for you. And it gives you time to repair that decision making. I tell people all the time, the main thing you learn in treatment is what to do when someone tells you no.
Okay.
How you deal with that. When someone tells you something you don't want to hear or someone,
I'd like to know what the answer is. I have a hard time when someone says no to me.
Yeah. So a lot of times, because I owned drug rehabs for a long time. And a lot of times a client would be like, hey, I want to do this. And it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. And I would be like, well, if I told you no, how would you feel? Well, why?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make no sense. Okay. Well, you're going to learn what happens
when
how do you respond because when someone tells you no, you want to self-destruct and you want to say this is bullshit and whatever, but you're going to learn how to do that here in a safe environment.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit with it because is watching Avatar on Saturday really
what
if that sets you off in treatment out there,
it's
it's really going to set you off.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, we're going to teach you things here that are, you know, what we call like therapeutic,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Oh, you really want a haircut? I don't know. Maybe we won't give you a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
And people go crazy.
For the littlest things.
Whatever. And it's like these little things, but you really see what somebody's made of, because that kid who's super polite and following all the rules, as soon as he doesn't get his way, that's when that's when we would say, oh, that's when the real Lexis showed up.
Yeah.
Because you're all sweet and nice until
No, but that's for everybody, not just people with addiction. So as I was reading the book, okay, you still hung around people that were doing stuff.
For sure.
How? Like how?
So I didn't have it.
Like
I didn't have friends, and I had made like, now, like looking back, I was like, why would I do that? But when I first got clean, like all of my friends were using, and then it was a lot of people in meetings, like they had their own friend groups, and like I'm in school, they have jobs, you know, a lot of people have like careers already, and like, you know, I didn't really know what to do, and then I would just hang out with my junkie friends. And they would be doing pills next to me. I was hooking up with this girl, and she was doing pills in the bathroom.
Yeah. But that didn't want to make you relapse, because honest to God, every time I haven't, I'm like, he's gonna relapse. This is it, you know. And then I'm like, okay, maybe he doesn't relapse.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't the smartest thing, but they say like the road gets narrow. Where there's a part in the book where I stopped doing those things, you know? And a lot of those things I never told people. Like I didn't tell my sponsor that the girl I was hooking up with was also doing blues until probably 9 months clean.
Wow.
And my sponsor was like, what?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this? And I didn't even think it was an issue. When you hung out with drug addicts your whole life, it's not weird. I would get drugs for my friends.
That's to me, you have willpower to do that. Right?
No, a lot of it's stupidity and luck.
Okay.
A lot of that is stupidity and luck, because today, if somebody was like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friend who's on drugs and I'm trying not to do drugs, I'd be like, you're very dumb.
Yeah.
You're very dumb and you're taking risks that you don't have to take. But I was so lonely that I was willing to hang out with people that were on drugs, because I just didn't, I had no one else to hang out with. Literally, like everyone, even when I was clean, a lot of people I grew up with or I knew were all like, oh, that kid's a scumbag. You know, I remember I had one.
Because you did some shady shit,
not for no reason.
Yeah.
I remember I had a year clean. And one of my childhood friends, we had like become friends again. And he was like, yo, you want to come over and watch Entourage? And I used to go to his house and watch Entourage. And I remember I was at his house. There was a couple people there. And his mom walked in. His mom looked at me, said, Jonathan, come here. And she said, that guy's not allowed in my house. And he was like, he's been clean for a year. And she goes, I don't care. He drove me home.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Later on, you know, his family accepted me or whatever. But this is at a year clean.
Yeah.
Now imagine I'm 17, 18 years old, have a year clean. I'm going to go hang out with the only people I know who aren't on drugs.
Yeah.
And the mom calls me out in front of everyone and says, that kid needs to go home.
Yeah. But I get her
for sure
thinking,
because think about for 4 years, hey, how's Brian doing? Oh, he's smoking crack, you know. But as a kid, it's like, imagine like your self-worth and how you feel about yourself. Where like these people haven't hung out with me in a long time, and now they're finally talking to me again because I have a year clean. Yeah, and at a year clean, you as an addict, you feel like
so proud.
You're like beyond.
But
even at a year clean, there are people who don't want you around.
Because there's so many people that do relapse.
And not just that, who believes that? You know what I mean? Oh, is he really clean? I don't know if he's clean. Has he changed?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Oh man, that's crazy.
And with that being said, like I still was like selling drugs at 6 months clean. I was still, doing things that I wasn't, I guess I was stealing. So I was still stealing. I was still stealing. I was still selling drugs. I was still doing fucked up shit my first year clean. And that's why I always say, like, you never know who's going to make it. Because there was a bunch of people who got clean around the same time who were goody two-shoes and followed all the rules. And sometimes, like, the person you last think is going to stay clean stays clean. Yeah. Because you can't measure someone's like might. You know, someone's, because it fluctuates every day.
Yeah. Yeah. you can never know because, like you say, once an addict, always an addict, right? So you can see somebody and be like, okay, they got their shit together, they're going to be clean, but they just have to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and not be at the right state of mind, right? Like if you're feeling down.
I tell people all the time, think about it when you go on a diet.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you could be gun-ho for 3 months.
Yeah.
And what happens after that?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like that's why in recovery, we really do preach a just for today mentality where it's you're only thinking about today. Because the guy with 17, 18, 20 years or whatever can have a day where he uses or whatever. It's really just a 24-hour period where most people are looking at things that, okay, even your family. Like I have friends, my friend, I got him into treatment. His brother has 6 months clean. And he's like, he's doing really well, I was like, is he going to meetings? He's like, I don't know if he goes to meetings. I was like, you better make sure he goes to meetings because
they help.
Well, I mean, not only, in my opinion, it's like,
well, you felt so good after.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having 6 months clean and not going to meetings.
Yeah,
I went to meetings every single day for years. Yeah, years, every single day. So you have 6 months and you already think you're good.
Yeah,
that's like crazy.
And
so once someone thinks that they're good, is the beginning.
Is the time where of them going bad. You were still stealing your parents' car. Did they know about that? Like you were clean and you were doing so good, and then you go and steal their fucking car, and I'm like, why are you doing that? If you're watching this right now, I bet you care about how you look, feel, and smell, especially smell. And that's why I am here to talk to you about King Rilla. They make all natural soaps, shampoos, lip balms, and deodorants for men. But I'm not gonna lie, I use them as well. They use organic ingredients that keep you feeling fresh all day long. And trust me, you deserve to treat yourself like a king. So do yourself and your girlfriend a favor by visiting them at kingrilla.com. You won't regret it. Oh, and don't forget to use my promo code LexisStar to get 15% off your order.
Stealing the car was so, like, I was so entitled where I just thought, like, no one's using it.
So why not? And did they know?
Dude, at times I would be like, there are times where I was like, the keys are in the drawer. Do they want me to take it?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's like, dude, I steal the car all the time. Like, why don't you
hide the keys?
Hide the keys.
My brother used to steal my dad's car all the time. And I'm like, do they not realize?
I just think my parents were like, I don't know, because I don't like nobody driving my cars.
Yeah.
I don't like anyone driving. I don't know. I think as an adult, you hide your keys for a little bit and then you get so tired of just like the day-to-day in your life that you come home from a long day and you just put the keys in the drawers.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking, is he going to take him this time? Or I don't know, but like, dude, I took the car all the time. And
did you ever get busted though? Would they?
Yeah.
And then they would still leave the keys there.
Months. They would hide it for a couple months.
Okay. And then.
And they would think that maybe I learned my lesson or something. Yeah. But it's like, I was just waiting for the keys to be in that drawer.
To be in that drawer.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think he's good now. When I'm reading, I'm like, he's not going to do something stupid. And then you go and do something stupid. But.
Well, so the important part about the book, so people that don't know, it's obviously not about how to talk to girls at party. I'm still trying to figure that out. Yeah. But the book is about those are my actual diary entries of my first year clean. Those, like, I'll show you composition books. I have real, like, 40 composition books of my first year clean.
Wow.
And I've been keeping a diary up until like yesterday. So for 17 years, I've had a diary. Now, those are like the actual diaries. And most books on addiction is like 200 pages of using drugs. And then I went to rehab and got clean.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Or it's just like, then I went to whatever. But this, you see like the roller coaster of the first year of like not having friends, the depression, thinking like nothing's ever working, getting kicked out of school. I got kicked out of school twice clean. And a lot of people who get clean, that's what life is like for them. Yeah. They don't just get clean and all their problems go. It's like you still have to change the person that you are.
Yeah.
So,
but sometimes, like when I'm reading, I'm like, man, he's got so many things going on in his head.
Yeah.
There's so many things happening. And sometimes I tend to overthink a lot and I tend to like stress over things. And I kind of related to you with that because I see that you're going from one subject to the other. And did you have any people be like, hey, because I know you changed some names, right? Did you have any people that read your book and you're like, yo, was that me? Or
yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone knows who they are. Yeah, sure. Thank you. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, when I change people's names, I basically ask them like, "Hey, do you want me to keep your name in?" There's some people's names that I didn't change. There might be some people that don't know that they're in the book, but a lot of times I would take two characters in my real life and put them as one, so it's less confusing. So it's like less names, you know. So yeah, there's people in the book that I merged two people, so that way it'd be less
Yes.
confusing. But yeah, like there's in the end of the book, there's like a where are they now? And I kind of do like a breakdown of where everyone in the book is now.
Okay. You were a little mean to Abigail.
So man,
I'm like, poor little Abigail. Anyways, I don't know the story, but you know, I
Yeah.
was just reading it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, imagine she reads this and then she says, oh, is that what he thought about me or whatever? But I know that you
so I
weren't.
had published the book online years ago, and
Okay.
she had reached out to me,
Oh, did she?
and I think she just knew. She knew how fucked up I was at the time.
Yeah. So it didn't.
I think at
really-
the time she's like, she thought I was a serial killer.
Yeah.
She was like, are you gonna kill me one day?
But I do get like, I was like, oh, he'd probably be a scary guy back then. I do get maybe not. Actually, no, I do get serial killer vibes because of like, you're like, or you're mad at your dad or
yeah.
whatever.
So I still struggle with suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
And people are always like, oh, that's so sad. I'm like, I'm just glad they're not homicidal.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you got to look at the bright side. I haven't had homicidal thoughts in probably like 15 years.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And how did you, you were going to, I don't know the term, like you were going to rehabs and you were talking to people.
Yeah. So
Tell us about that.
So I would go to, so like when I first got clean, my sponsor was very into what we call like H&I, which is where you go and bring meetings into rehabs. And that was really why being clean started to make sense, because being clean and being in recovery took so much work and my life wasn't getting better. So I was like, how much work I'm putting in isn't equating to a better life. I'm probably more depressed now than I've ever been. I'm probably, like, people don't realize that at 6-7 months clean, 5 months clean, I was probably feeling worse than I had ever felt.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's the point of all of this? But at 6 months clean is when I started doing, speaking at rehabs and stuff like that and bringing in meetings. And the feeling that I would get when someone would come out of a jail or a rehab and be like, yo, I never was interested in getting clean until you guys came in, would be like there's times I'd be at Publix with my mom and there'd be a dude 40 years old with face tattoos and he would come up to me and be like, yo, dude, when you came into Conti jail,
no way,
you were the best speaker we had over there.
Get out.
And my mom would be like, Brian, who the fuck is that? And then and like that feeling of like making a difference was till today, there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how did you go from that, drug addict, recovering, H&Is, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
To doing adult content? When did you start? How did you get into it?
I always got off on the camera with, doing something. Okay. So like, even when I think like one of my first sexual experiences ever, I immediately was like, oh my God, I need to record this.
Okay.
Which like, that's just how I've always been. Okay. So I remember I set up the camera, the girl came over. As soon as she left, I went to go watch it. I didn't realize the lights were off and you can't see anything. So I didn't know about lighting back then. But even in my personal life, I always wanted to record. I've always been into like sending and receiving videos, and I've always been hyperly sexual. So I used to think that was just because I'm a Scorpio. You know what I mean?
I was literally just going to say that.
I used to think I was like, just because I'm a Scorpio. But I didn't even know. Like, I say it now and I'm like comfortable saying it. But when I had 5 years clean, I found out I was molested.
Oh, fudge.
So I never really thought of myself as being, because when I would go to drug rehabs as a young kid and therapy as a young kid, that's one of the main questions they would ask you. Because they would be less looking at me and more looking at my parents. And they'd be like, dude, like, is everything okay at home? Like, do your parents beat you? Did anyone touch you? And doing drugs at such a young age, I also would be like, what's wrong? Because I grew up in a nice neighborhood. Yeah. My parents cared about me. But I would go into some facilities and they would bring in specialists and they would be like, I remember this one lady came in, Betsy Roberts. And she was like, I've been working in the Broward County school systems for 17, 18 years. This is the worst case of addiction we've ever seen in an adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, has anything ever happened to you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, no, like, what the fuck? At the time I was like, I'm just an evil kid. You know, I thought I was just, to me, I was just a thug.
Mm-hmm.
And at 5 years clean, I remember I was listening to a speaker and he talked about how his babysitter used to take care of him and she used to take showers and she wanted him in the room while he took a shower.
Oh, fuck.
And he said, you don't have to be touched to be molested.
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
And as a young age, I think like in probably first grade, my neighbor across the street, him and his older brother had like porn magazines.
Mm.
And then like second grade, my other friend's cousin went online and showed me like adult videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then in like third grade, me and my friends used to go to each other's houses and watch Cinemax because his parents had it on like Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was normal things that kids, everyone grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And as I get older, I have plenty of friends who have kids and we don't think any of that's going on.
Yeah.
You know, like that would never happen.
No, I don't think so.
When I was in like, I think probably like, and I know it was third grade or younger because I lived in a certain house. My cousin was probably like 17 and he would show me videos of him and his girlfriend having sex.
No way.
And
That's
he thought it was
crazy.
funny.
Yeah.
But in third grade,
no,
that's insane.
like
that's
you don't
crazy.
know how to process that. You don't even
You wouldn't even
know what.
You wouldn't even show a kid, like you would
No.
never show a kid that, you know?
Yeah.
So as I got older, I started to be like, oh, maybe like one, I know that that's a form of being molested,
Mhm.
you know? So like no one, like my uncle never
Yeah,
touched
yeah.
me or something like that, but I was exposed to sex at a young age. Cause even when I started going to therapy with years clean, they would be like, well, why are you hyperly sexual? You know,
Mhm.
like, did anything happen? I'm like, no, whatever. And then when I would explain this, is like, well, if you were super sexual at a young age, it's because you got exposed to it at a young age.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was like super hypersexual when I was younger. And then when I got clean, I can't do drugs. I can't do anything. So like sex is like really the only
thing.
only vice that I had, you know? And then even with sex, there was a lot of like shame that came with it because like in recovery, it's like anything you do too much can be viewed as like unhealthy.
Mhm.
And then there's a lot of like low self-worth things. So a lot of times, a lot of the people I would sleep with were people I was not attracted to,
Okay.
which is like a low self-worth type of thing.
Mhm.
Where if you're sleeping with people that you don't want to be sleeping with, that's because you hate yourself so much
Yeah.
that you're sleeping with people to feel some type of validation. And then
Okay.
you feel even worse,
Mhm.
which is, you know, people don't talk about it. It's called like being promiscuous, like
Okay.
a promiscuous male. So I've always been a promiscuous male. And then as time went on, I got into webcamming.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend and his wife were making a ton of money webcamming.
Okay.
I was like 19.
Okay. Okay. So this started like early.
I had like 2 years clean.
Okay.
So you imagine I had like years clean already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even though I'm 19, in my friend who's telling me this is 30.
Wow.
So I've always had older friends. When I got in recovery, I had friends who were, you know,
Yeah.
all my friends in recovery were also older than me.
Yeah.
So I remember him and his wife were probably 30 and they were making like $1,000 a night webcamming.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, I don't have a wife, but you know, I don't want to do like anything, you know, gay.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I don't want to do anything gay or whatever. So then I remember he told me I could hire webcam girls and I would get a fee for bringing them on.
Okay.
So then I used to do that. And then that was like fun or whatever. But when like adult content, when like doing adult stuff and money came together,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I read this book where it was like this UFC fighter and he was talking about like, he always loved fighting, but the first time he got paid to fight,
Mhm.
that's when like lightning struck.
Yeah.
So for me, the adult content, the creativity and the money, when that came together, you know, someone was asking like, what is it about adult content that you like? And it's like, when you make art and you do something that, you know, in your garage or whatever, that's cool. But
Mhm.
as soon as someone buys it,
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow, this is something now.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and not that like money validates it,
Mm-hmm.
but money lets it like come to life.
Mhm.
You know, where someone is now has this hanging in their house. Someone
Yeah.
thought that out of all the pieces of art out there, they bought
They
yours.
bought yours. Yeah.
So there is a feeling of,
Hey, it's Lexis Star. If you've made it this far, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for sticking around. If you are enjoying the show, I would love if you could subscribe. Now, why would I ask you this? The more subscribers we have, the easier it is for me to bring on fun, exciting, and entertaining guests on the show for you to enjoy. So let's keep the conversation going. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah.
So there is a feeling of fulfillment that comes with creating any type of content that's for purchase, you know, or gets viewed or whatever. And even though someone might think it's like low vibrational, like, okay, is that really art? Let me tell you, the people who goon, that is art to them, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
no, 1000%.
It's like there's so much people out there making content today.
There is.
For you to stand out, you are fucking Van Gogh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you are somebody who is really doing something special. And if you think it's easy, like
it's definitely not easy.
You would have done it. So then to fast forward, so then I started like a business. I used to do like motorcycles and then I got into like being a gigolo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was a gigolo. Yeah, I was a gigolo at one point. I never slept with Cassie, but some of my coworkers have.
Cassie?
Yeah, like P. Diddy Cassie.
No way.
Yeah. So I actually got called from an attorney to question me about like some stuff with a case. Yeah.
No freaking way.
Yeah. So then I was like a male gigolo. And
how long did you do that for?
Way longer than I should have.
Really?
There was times where I had money and what I'm telling you, like, you know what, when it's weird because it kind of gave me like this weird thing. Cause it's like, girls do this. I know girls who are escorts or whatever, and I'll be like, you know, what's your favorite type? And they're like, a dude that gives me money. I don't care. I don't care if he's ugly. Yeah. When he sends me that Zelle, my cat gets wet.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, that's crazy. Now as a guy, I've gotten paid so much from women that there are women out there that I don't think they're that attractive, but the fact that they're paying me turns me on.
Turns you on.
You know, so there was times where I remember I already had a business. I was already, you know, super successful. And my friend called me and he's like, bro, I need you. And I was like, dude, I'm out of the game. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. And he was like, bro, this girl's going to pay you. And it was like probably like $2,000 for her to go down on me.
Jeez.
And I was like, what does she look like? And he's like, bro, she ain't pretty, but she will suck a fucking football through a garden hose, you know? Oh, and he was like, bro, when I tell you it's top 10, it's top 10. So I was like, and this is my boy. Like, he's helped me out. He's, you know, like he put me on in a lot of things that I owe him. So I know he's been
had to do it.
He's stuck, and I know he's been stuck with her for 5 days.
Okay,
so he's like, "Come save me."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right." So I pull up, and I go in there, and she's a very successful woman.
Okay.
So a lot of super successful men or women in the bedroom like the opposite of power, or they like to be degraded.
Submissive. Okay.
As soon as she walked in, she was like, hi, nice to meet you. My friend like grabbed her by the hair, threw her on her knees and was like, do you know who this is? Show some respect.
Okay, so your boy was there with you?
Yeah, my boy was there with me. He was like slapping her around.
Oh my God.
I was like, and I've learned like this is what she wants.
What she's into, yeah.
And I just, you know, I just was like, that's crazy because she was so old.
Okay.
So she was young and like, whatever, but she was like this older lady. But she was like, yes, master. Yes, master. Oh my God. And, he wasn't lying. It was like 10 out of 10.
Wow. Was that your last one?
That was I've had a couple of, that was like one of my last ones. But I remember my other friend walked in where I guess he got the call too to come in and
save the day.
And when he walked in and see me, he was like, bro, what are you doing here? To him, he was like, this is what he said verbatim. He was like, why are you here tricking in the trap with us?
Oh, yeah.
When you outside, you got a McLaren.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I'm just here to help a friend.
They're just here to help a friend.
But yeah, I did that off and on for like I probably did it for like 4 years.
Wow.
And then I probably like did it a couple times for another 3.
Wow. And you've been posting content since when?
So I posted my first video in 2018.
Okay.
So in 2018, in 2018, I'm a drug rehab owner, super successful.
Okay.
I started doing charity with kids. Mm-hmm. So at the time, I have like a super clean image. I even got rid of my book because it was so disgusting.
Yeah.
I never wanted anyone to see it.
Okay.
So I had like a very clean image. I have over 200 employees.
Wow.
You know, I have multiple businesses. But at the time, like I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. and I'm sleeping with like the most beautiful women in the world. You know, at that time, like I was 27. I like life
Just
couldn't get
living
better.
life, yeah.
And my one friend, Alex Adams, was the number one guy on PH, still is.
Yeah.
You know, huge guy. And I've known Alex Adams since he got sober or clean. So I've seen him go from like Honda Accord to like McLarens, Rolls Royces, and all this stuff. And he's such a nice guy. And he's hardcore into recovery. So me and him started talking. I was like, how does it work? He showed me how it works. So I was like, whatever, I'm gonna do a video and not show my face.
Yeah.
So I put like 5-6 videos up that don't show my face and they just tank. Not doing good. So like, what am I doing wrong? So like, I got to talk more. So I do this one video where I pick up this girl from the gas station, and it is the number one video on the hub.
No way.
On December of 2018, it like won number one. I even beat Alex Adams.
No way.
It got like 27 million views in like a month. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I was like, damn.
Were you showing your face?
It wasn't showing my face. Someone sent it to me and was like, bro, what the hell are you doing? I was like, how do you know that's me? He goes, that's your voice?
Yeah.
That's you attempting to speak Spanish.
You don't speak Spanish?
No, un poquito. So he goes, that's your G-Wagon. And that's Pine Island Road.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, all right, this dude is just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Plus, he lives out of state. So I blocked Florida. And I was like, oh, you can only see it because you live in like Asheville.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, bro, I'm in Florida right now. And I was like, I thought I blocked it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, he's just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Next day, someone else sends it to me. A couple weeks go by, someone else sends it to me.
That's the worst.
So then, but they're sending it out of concern.
Okay.
They're sending it out of like, bro, are you throwing your life away?
Yeah. Okay.
Because in 2018, doing adult content wasn't cool.
Yeah.
It was like, if you're doing adult content in 2018, you're desperate for money or something. You know, people didn't know that you could make money like that. People thought you get paid $300 to do a video or whatever as a guy, you know? So then I'm like, whatever, it's going on. So I make another video, also goes viral. I make another video, it also goes viral.
Sick.
Then one day, client sends it to me, an alumni client from the drug rehab. And I was like, so I was telling him like, bro, you got to take your recovery seriously. You're going to die. You need to focus on staying clean. You think it's a fucking joke. He goes, yeah, bro, how's your fucking porn career? And I was like, what? And he's like, no, I'm just playing. I was like, no, what are you talking about? And he sends me the video. And I was like, how did you find that? And he's like, a bunch of people sent it to me.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, oh my God. So then I have business partners. I'm speaking at church every once in a while, you know? So then I was like, damn. So then I deleted all the videos.
Oh, fuck.
Deleted all the videos. And I was like, all right, I'm going to keep making videos until I sell my company.
Okay.
So then I kept making videos.
Fuck, you should have kept them on though.
I know. I didn't want people to see that.
Still.
But yeah, I deleted all them and then whatever.
If you still generate money from it, if you kept it on.
Yeah,
but
I just
anyways.
didn't want people to see them. And like the only ones that did well were the ones that had a lot of like
talking
and like, a lot of, not just like a straight POV.
Yeah.
And then that was like my goal for years was like, all right, I'm going to sell my company. I'm going to do adult content for years. And then COVID happened. And then I missed that whole COVID wave. And then it was taking forever to sell my company.
Okay.
And then like I was just telling you guys, like I had like the 3 worst years of my life where like you got to sell your company on an upswing. So I was like, dude, we're nowhere near selling now. So then for like 5 years, I kept making the content, but I wasn't putting it out.
Oh.
And then like a lot of the videos back then, I wasn't watching them. So I couldn't see how they were doing.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to like make videos at like a high quality that I would now. So a lot of those older videos, whatever. And then I finally like left my company, took a buyout, and then started doing it full time. And then that was in 2023. So I've been doing it for like 2 years now.
Okay.
Full time.
Shit. That's awesome. Well, you're doing really good.
Thanks. It didn't start out that way. When I started putting out my videos, they were tanking. The same video that got 27 million views got like 100,000.
Honestly, I don't know how it works on PH. It's like, I can post a video. I think I had a video that got like 24 million views. And then like you're on this high and then all of a sudden it's like you go on a low. And then again.
Well, I think right now it's a ring around Rosie. So I think that you'll have one good month and then they'll rotate it to other people and then you'll have another good month. So to me, like every 90 days it comes around.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. But if you would have been putting out those videos in 2018, they would have been going crazy viral because before COVID, there was so little competition
Content, yeah, and
that you could have posted anything
and you would have,
and you would have
that makes
blown
sense.
up. So now that there's so many creators, it's so saturated that it's so hard to stand out.
Yeah.
So, but at the time, I was putting out, I think I put out like 30 videos,
Well,
and I think I had like 7 million views, and I was like, oh, I waited years to do this, and this is what's going on. Like, I walked away from a multi-million-dollar company to pursue this.
Yeah.
So I could like barely make my car payment, you know, and like everyone, and then like it wasn't like doing adult content and it not popping off is embarrassing. So it's like, oh yeah, this guy who used to be this great guy now does adult content and
his videos aren't getting any views.
It's going nowhere. Yeah. So it was definitely like, there's definitely an ugly stage of adult content where you're starting out. I remember like I put out that I had an OF and like I couldn't get like my ID to upload and like they weren't letting videos
That's so annoying. Every time
and like you're new. So
I know.
So it's like embarrassing to be like, oh my God, like it's when you start any business, it's kind of like
yeah. No, so definitely.
It's definitely not
when you have people sending you videos of yourself. Like I had one of my cousins text me at 2 a.m. and say, no way you do porn. 2 a.m. I don't know why I even opened my eyes. I look at my phone and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to sleep now? You know, at like 2 a.m. So yeah.
So all my close friends knew. So that was a big thing for me. So before I like publicly started to do it again, I went to go see a sexologist like 3 years before.
Okay.
And I went to go see like, he's a sexologist therapist. And I've been looking for like a therapist for like months. And I finally found this guy. And a part of me was like, what's wrong with me where I'm successful in business. I, love to help people. I'm trying to be like a philanthropist. I have a drug rehab, I do all these great things. I just spoke at my church on Sunday. But then I also like to do, adult content in my house, whatever it is. So all my friends were like married with kids, and I was just like, dude, like, I just don't see that for myself, And I remember I went to this guy and I was talking to him, I was telling him about my story. I had met with him like multiple times, and I was in this conflicting state of like, I want to do this, but I feel shame and guilt about it. And I want to do this, but is it wrong? Because in recovery, you're not supposed to have a double life. So I kept thinking like I had this double life. And after a couple sessions, my therapist was like, all right, so I pretty much know your whole story now. And he was like, so you're this like successful, nice, good guy, whatever, but you like doing adult content. And I bet you really get off on it, huh? And I was like, I guess. He said, I bet you feel like real dirty when you're doing it too. And I was like, something like, he's like, I bet you do it sometimes and times you're not supposed to be doing, like during the work day or something. And I was like, sometimes. Yeah. And he was like, sounds like you got a guilty pleasure. And I was like, I do. And he goes, and who the fuck doesn't have one of those?
Exactly. Oh, that's really good. That's a good way to think about it.
And he was like, you don't think your fucking employees are getting off? Yeah. You don't think the people that you're friends with are freaking watching all types of stuff? You don't think that the people in your little recovery group has all type of weird fetishes and things that they're into or whatever? And then he was like, do your friends know? I said, yeah. He goes, your close friends know? I said, your family knows? I said, yeah. And he's like, you're doing this with consenting adults? I said, yeah. And he goes, and you found a way to make money at it? And I said, yeah. He goes, who the fuck is having a better life than you?
Exactly.
And I was like, damn, you're so right. And
that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what I like to do? He goes, sometimes I tell, he's talking about like his therapist clients. He's like, or his therapy clients. He's like, sometimes I tell clients I'm not feeling good, but it's not true. I'm at home eating ice cream. And it's noon. Yeah. I'm in my underwear. Yeah. And I just said, I'm not going to go to work today. I'm just going to eat ice cream all day. That's my guilty pleasure. Yeah. He goes, that's what I like to do. He goes, I don't care. Yeah. They don't need to know. They don't need to know why I don't feel like going to work today. Yeah. And he says it would be inappropriate for you to go tell everybody that you do adult content.
Yeah, exactly. That right. You're not just going to be like, hey, this is.
He's like, that would be weird.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. I left there like.
Feeling good.
Yeah, feeling good.
I'm sure that probably felt good because me too, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm like this good person. I have values, this and that. And then I go and do adult content, right? So I struggled with that. And I mean, there's still days where I'm like, what am I doing? Hey, so sorry for interrupting, but I am glad you made it this far. Part 2 of this episode is out now, so don't forget to check it out. All right, I'll see you in a little bit.